Alright guys, welcome to the start of the week, at least for people outside of the US. I know US markets are still closed today for Labor Day, but the S&P did get some moves, so we'll talk about that, but mainly we're going to talk about Bitcoin, because while we had a pretty nasty daily close yesterday, this move really goes to show just how powerful the sentiment indicator is, because if you've been on Twitter recently, you've seen everyone saying, oh, I missed the top, or I sold the top, you get wrecked, we're going into the bear market, it should have been obvious. This marks the top, this marks the top, it's all over now. And I've continued to say, I don't think the top is in. I think we're going to grab liquidity up on higher. We're going to flip everyone that's bearish right now back into bulls. And that's when the true top will come in. I think, there'll be a secondary high. There always is. Usually you don't have that first up thrust like what we had back over here in the beginning of 2024, becoming the final high for any charts out there. And there's even a good chance none of this is distribution. We're not going to do a swing failure for the highs, like is kind of my base case, right? That's my conservative take. And with how sentiment is right now and some fundamentals of Bitcoin that could actually play out, like it being a reserve asset similar to gold, we could definitely see a bit of a super cycle. We could see, $100, $200, $300,000 Bitcoin. It's not out of the question at all. Of course, that stuff is kind of speculative though. We're going to take it day by day. My base case remains all-time highs. Grab liquidity up here before rolling over. I know a lot of people are also saying we could come up here, roll over one more time before the actual cycle starts. And there is still the possibility this is just a short squeeze real quick and then we dump back down, right? Anything is on the table, but as I've been saying, this is what I'm thinking. Something like this, make another double top, proper distribution structure up there at around, let's just say 74 to 80, maybe $85,000, $95,000, maybe even $100,000, right? We could come up anywhere within this box is where I could see being used as kind of exit liquidity. Bitcoin just makes more of a proper distribution schematic up in here before rolling off over into the bear market. And I believe all of this happens in 2024. I don't think the bull is going to last till 2025 like a lot of people do predict, right? A lot of people that are bullish just think the 4-year cycle is going to play out. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, mainly because of unemployment rate and the inverted yield curve. All right, now I want to get into the shorter term time frame stuff, but before we do that, I got to shout out some exchanges, one of which is JumpX. They're a fairly new exchange that has some really awesome perks for you guys. You can get VIP level 3 using my link in the description down below, and some of the best deposit bonus rewards you can get in the industry, including one that I've already used, which is deposit $200, get a $50 futures bonus reward, basically free money. Don't miss out on that. And then also another one of my favorite non-KYC, non-VPN exchanges, BitUnix, has completed their proof of reserves with CoinGecko. They have now a 9 out of 10 trust rating. They're definitely going for a spot as a proper tier 2 exchange up there with, MEXC being X. All of those really good ones. They got a ton of liquidity. So definitely sign up with my link down below for that exchange. But with that out of the way, let's talk about what happened here. So we lost the range on this pretty nasty daily close yesterday, but you always got to wait for at least 2 daily closes to really confirm stuff. You don't want to just be panicking because you had one daily close at the lows, because a candle close doesn't really mean a whole lot. If we look at the hourly time frame, when did it close? Well, it closed at like the last hour of the day. So does this really count? Not necessarily, right? You got to wait for price action to play out. We really weren't down here that long. There's a lot of buyers scooping up prices. And that's another reason I kind of knew we were bullish. Just saw a ton of buying pressure, especially after uploading my video yesterday. Lots of whales in the order books that we'll look at in just a second. But yeah, after lifting off this low, we have gotten back above value, which is this pink line in my charts, back tested that as support, and now we're starting to send up higher. So reclaim the range on the daily time frame. If we can properly hold this as support, right? Not quite out of the woods yet. We got to hold it as support, but assuming we don't just wick back below and back test it, this is probably going to signal a move all the way up to value area high, which would be around $68,000. So that's kind of the next target here on Bitcoin, in my opinion, outside of, inefficiencies in the chart. I know we're going to have fair value gaps. There's going to be resistance above us. I'm not saying to FOMO in long right now or anything like that. But overall, I like what I'm seeing here. Simply reclaim of the range. We go over here to this other chart, and you can see some of that resistance I just warned about, right? There is some levels above us that we still need to be cautious of, such as this big point of control. We talked about this in yesterday's video. If we're truly bearish, probably going to sweep this, come up, and then reject, and then fall from here. So definitely, like I just said, not out of the woods yet, but we do have big support below us now. We just got to make sure we're holding this if we come all the way down here, or better yet, why don't we just come up right now, flip this into support. 59,200 is a big level for me. Let's see how price reacts there. And you can see how well these points of control have been respected, where the low came in, right? We kind of consolidated here. Lots of shorts were opening up into the big buy walls, and that's where price, launched out of. We kind of rejected this and then got through it, and now rejecting up at this volume up here. So these are volume levels, and in confluence with the levels, you are going to want to watch order flow too, so we can see what positions are actually doing. We can see as price comes up here, we have a lot of longs opening, right? Open interest going up, CVD going up, so a lot of longs started opening after shorts opened. So we had a lot of shorts within this range here, right? A lot of bottom shorters. These are now all trapped. So now that you've trapped all of these shorts, you don't necessarily want to be accepting that range. So I would say let's try to hold above 58,500, maybe a little bit lower. But essentially this whole range should kind of keep them trapped. If it is super bullish, we have already kind of closed out a good amount though, as price came up here recently within the last couple hours. We have started to close out those short positions. You can see open interest going down, positions are being closed out of the market, but this is decent order flow, right? Good buying pressure into a short squeeze. That's not bad. What you just don't want to see is a short squeeze into buying pressure, right? You don't want people late longing on top of short squeezes. So we'll see what happens here. If price, does make a double top and long start piling in here and then price rejects, then yeah, you could probably go hunt those long positions. But so far, nothing too crazy on order flow. Probably just going to retrace back into some of this, and then hopefully we find good supportive buyers back at the trend. We want longs at the lows, not at the highs. Let's talk about this buying pressure though, because I said there was a lot of buyers in the order books, and you can see here each of these kind of higher contrast lines are bigger buy walls. So like this is a 500, 600 Bitcoin buy wall, 500. Lots of these like 300 to 400. Just tons of large buyers in the order books right now looking to scoop up price, especially, when we made this low back here. So yeah, when we came down here, price was being supported by all of this heavy order book pressure, and that's the reason it didn't sweep down lower, right? It didn't give these whales the prices they wanted. It kind of just bounced up, and now all of these positions have either already FOMOed into the market, or they're going to have to decide, do they want to wait to potentially get lower, or are they going to push their orders up, pushing price higher? We'll see what happens, right? I'm still not ruling it out of the question that this is still a big possibility, right? We still have single prints down here, right? That level is still definitely a point of interest for me if we come down there, but I do like these lows. I will say it, this kind of made it a bit more poor, but another failed auction at this level, and it did sweep some liquidity. Isn't that bad to see. This low is still pretty good in my opinion. If we go over to the TPO profile, you can see it does have 5 single print tails, so that is a good low on the TPO profile. That's what I'd like to see. You see the highs up here are bad, so there are no single prints up at the highs. These are bad. They're probably going to get swept. So yeah, overall my sentiment, my base case for Bitcoin has remained unchanged. Still think there's a good chance that's the low, but of course any possibilities could play out on the chart. We'll just have to watch these levels, see how it all does react. And then we go to some of our other charts. Ethereum, Bitcoin, this double bottom's continuing to play out here on the new monthly open. So I do think there's a good chance Ethereum is going to start outperforming Bitcoin. You'd probably see the whole altcoin market start outperforming Bitcoin if that was the case. You see the altcoin market, while it had a big bearish candle down, really nasty candle close down here. I said this looked pretty bearish after rejecting that point of control. We have seen nice support around where this mid-channel trend was, so let's see if we can get back above it. This is still a big level on the chart. We need to get back above that point of control, so we'll just watch these levels in the altcoin market. Definitely need more confirmation here for me to be extremely bullish, but definitely like what I'm seeing so far with the nice bounce we're getting off the lows and Bitcoin dominance continuing to make lower highs. I think Bitcoin dominance could be top tier. There is the chance this is going to be the start of the big altcoin season, so we'll see if that does actually play out. Now let's talk about the S&P 500, which has also been pretty dang bullish. You see this opened later yesterday, and while it's closed right now because US markets are not open, we did see another green close with a local higher high than we've had, getting really close to these all-time highs. And I do think the S&P is shaping up to go ahead and blast off into price discovery, which of course is going to lead to a lot of euphoria in the crypto markets. Probably going to see a big catch-up game when it comes to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin will also go to all-time highs. We go over here to the Russell. This is going to be more correlated with the altcoin market. You can see a very healthy trend here of higher lows. Probably going to start making these higher highs and getting above this point of control. This is the big level to watch here on the Russell. If we can start getting above that, if we can get above the value area high and start going into price discovery here, that is going to be extremely bullish for more of your risk on assets. And we are not too far off from all-time highs on the Russell, so let's see how this does play out. I'm of course pretty optimistic, but only time will tell, and we got some pretty big data coming out this month that will kind of give us a hint of what is going to happen, such as unemployment data, the Fed rate cut. So we'll see what happens with all of that, and make sure to stay tuned so you can get my thoughts on it. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. Also have a VIP Discord link below that has a lot of valuable information when it comes to leveraged trading specifically, and it is 25% off right now, so make sure to use code EAGLE25 to get that 25% off. And then also below those links are my exchange partners, so definitely go check out those exchanges. They offer their own perks and benefits, so don't miss out on that stuff. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.